Well, hello everyone. Hopefully you're having a truly wonderful new year thus far. You may be wondering today, why are arcade games so hard? You may have loaded up like Street Fighter 2 Arcade on an emulator and had no difficulty actually getting to the game, but in the actual real arcade, the game has been tremendously difficult and you get your butt whooped within a match or two. But in any case, we're going to load up WWF WrestleMania Arcade. We're going to be talking about RAM and NVRAM and of course Bootstraps and how they parlay into the awesomeness of better performance and speed on any given game. But unbeknownst to many of you, when you first get an arcade game, like the actual person who gets this into an arcade, they have to set the game up, or they can leave it at the default parameters. And some of these default parameters are accessible via a main menu. And they have these like in their Dipswitches and all that. They get their manual. But for this particular card, MAME 2003 Xtreme, you could simply hold down R2 or program it to a button on your controller if you do not have R2. Say if you're running with a Super Nintendo controller, just temporarily program to your R1 button. But in any case, once you open the main menu up, you can go to Dipswitches, and then you can turn your test switch on. And then when you exit, you'll get this nifty menu right here, WrestleMania Test Menu. And you can do many, many things on here. For example, check this out. Right here, I got into a menu I really don't want to get into, so I'm just simply going to restart the game. It's still going to go right to that main menu again. Here we go. Bam. We could do diagnostic, test, coin, bookkeeping, game audits, game adjustment. We can actually make the game more difficult here. Right here. We can make it free play where I'm sure you've gone into some place at some point in your life where they have the game there for free play. And that's pretty badass to people who are nice and generous to do this. But for the average savvy arcade enthusiast, the one who actually wants to get people in their arcade and quarter munch away and keep instant, they changed the default difficulty of normal all the way up to basically the unfathomable, impossible difficulty. Yes, this is how it is. I mean, at home, when you run these on an emulator, you're getting that default difficulty. But in the arcade, you almost always get the betwixt, unfathomable, impossible difficulty. I'm not going to do that for you today, though, but we're going to leave it on normal. And on top of that, you may have walked by an arcade and you've heard like this very, very, very loud arcade machines. They can control that as well. Check this out. You can go down to volume adjust, and right here, I mean, you're walking through the arcade, like near an arcade in the concourse, in the food court, maybe like a quarter mile away, and you hear the distinctive noise of Hadouken from the attract mode activate in Street Fighter 2. Right there. Max volume. I'm not going to leave it at max volume. I'm going to just like have it like slightly below it right there. Quit. And then I'm going to basically exit this and turn the main test menu off. There we go. And when that's all said and done, I can either restart the game and or close content, either or. I'm going to restart it. And what it did is it essentially created an NVRAM file, which is a non-volatile random access memory file. And pretty much the way this works is once you shut down your program application game, as you will, it'll actually save your settings such as volume, difficulty, pricing, controls. I mean, even a game like Terminator Arcade, the light gun, the calibration, it's all saved within this NVRAM file. So you can do this manually, but another cool thing here is what we have called Bootstraps, where I'll actually get into this hardcode-wise, and I'll program and code in the NVRAM to auto-generate. So even if you've never loaded this game before, I could have this at the proper volume the very, very first time you load it on the updated MAME 2003 Xtreme core. Okay, very, very cool stuff. But yeah, you might notice this across the board in many Midway games like Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, WWF WrestleMania Arcade, and of course, Open Ice. And I love these games. I mean, WWF in the House is a great game that's going to be working with the update with the Dust Station core. Yeah! Oh, geez. I love the announcer. Such a fun game. I used to play this in the arcade all the time, along with Golden Axe and many other games, before I'd see a movie. I mean, it was always like in the arcade right next to my movie theater. But yes, this is an NVRAM file that's created, and if you go into your RetroArch, saves, MAME 2003 Xtreme, or MAME 2003 Plus, you'll have your NVRAM folder there. So you may want to delete that folder via FTP, or if you're on your flash drive, etc., before you load these games up for the first time to get the proper perimeters. I'm going to go over a few other perimeters we could get here, but this game's good for now. Then we have Open Ice. And again, I'm going to have these games like auto-generate these NVRAMs. I mean, you're literally going to load it, it's going to generate it. And this will work for a multitude of games. I'm going to keep adding them with every release. Same thing. We're going to go into the dip switches here. Here we go. Test switch on. See what we got here. We can hold down the start button to basically skip the ROM check if we so choose to. And games like Konami's Run and Gun, the very first time you do the ROM check, it actually errored out, but we have a bootstrap for that as well. Okay? We could go to game audits, price and options, game adjustment, utilities. Let's see game adjustment here. What can we do there? Computer difficulty. Let's see what happens if we make it extra easy. I'm not going to have it ship in the release for extra easy. I'm not going to do that. I mean, I could technically do like an easy MAME core, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to change things such as the volume. That's the biggest thing. Charge for overtime. Oh, that's pretty bad. So if you get overtime, you can make it where people would charge for it. Okay, set minimum volume. I actually want to go back to the main menu where the true volume adjusted. Okay, right here. We're going to go slightly below max again. Okay, again, this is going to generate the NVRAM. MAME test menu off. Dip switches. And you can even make the head size larger. I'm not going to do that for the NVRAM, though. I mean, this is stuff you can do manually, but just stuff that is very, very welcome, like the volume. You don't want to have to worry about doing your R2 and adding the volume when you play these games. And if you're like on the SNES Classic, Mega Drive Mini, etc., when you load these from the RetroArch menu rather than the main menu, these NVRAMs are going to be wiped every time. But if I have it hard-coded in like I'm doing right now, it'll actually stick there. So you're good on that. So restart, and that main menu should be gone. And then we should be able to play the game with volume on easier difficulty. And again, it's been a little while since I last played this. Hold the start button to skip the menu. See if we can score a point or two, because you know hockey games are usually generally low scoring as our mini baseball games. Parental advisory. And one thing that threw me off on some of these games is like the actual like NHL, PA Association, etc. Even like they did not allow fatalities to be in these games. So even if you have like Wayne Gretzky, a Midway arcade game, there are fatalities in the game originally, but they're hidden. I mean, you could actually play this on MAME. I might try to get it work on one of these courts, but there are fatalities in it. Just like there were originally like fatalities in NBA Jam, etc. But they left them in like Mortal Kombat, of course. You got your initials for score keeping. Of course, we're going to have to play as Wayne Gretzky. Why not? But we got volume here. How awesome is that? We can hear it. We got our turbo button, which should be R1, if I believe. Got to get used to passing and shooting here. Oh, no. Oh, get down there. Oh, come on. I love this. The announcer's great. I'm losing so bad here. I'm ready to quit this game until I... Oh, I love that you can like knock this part. There we go. I got this. Check. I'm a fan of hockey movies in general, too. Remember that one with Sean William Scott? That was a badass movie. Oh man, I shafted that one. I'm not making this look pretty, am I not? Check. Oh, icing. Oh, they're not going to call icing, are they? Oh, look at that. Oh, man. I need to at least get one score here. Oh, yeah. I better quit while I'm ahead. Okay, but let's go down to another game that you can do this with. I mean, obviously, you could do it like a game like Dungeon Master. Dungeon Magic. What am I saying? Dungeon Master. I play too much D&D. There we go. Do the same thing here. We're going to do Blood Mode Activate. And I'm going to hard code this in as an NVRAM as well. But you go into the same thing here. Well, actually, it works a little bit differently on this one because you go into the actual main menu. There is no test menu there. But I have a keyboard, which you can actually map to one of your buttons. If I go to the F2 button on my controller, there we go. configuration, factory setting. I'm going to go configuration here. And right here, this is weird because I can change difficulty. I can make that easier, blah, blah, blah. Just make it very hard. I could make it where I had just one life and then I'm done. Then I go to violence mode, and this is what's weird here, because you might notice due to the way translations are, some of these games are different, because I'm going to go to violence mode here, and watch what happens. What is this? None, hard, normal. This is actually the degrees of blood that are in the game. So me putting it on hard is actually more blood. Hard equals more blood. How weird is that? Why did it just say like red blood mode activate or something? So yeah, hard is more blood. We save that configuration. Okay, exit, reset. Now when we start the game, we'll have blood mode activated. And again, I'm going to generate an NVRAM for this. It is so weird though, hard means more blood though. I mean, it throws me off. Okay, start the game, and if I did this properly, we should have blood with my main character. Normally it's just like green slime, like, can't do that on television. There we go, we have red blood mode activate, and we're in harder difficulty. You notice the game's run phenomenal with the main 2003 Xtreme AMP core updated. Badassery. Oh yeah. Okay, so we got that accounted for. Now we're going to do this with another game. And again, once I close this game, it creates the NVRAM, which is a non-volatile random access memory file. And what I'm going to be doing via hardcode-wise is the, of course, Bootstrap. And I'm going to give you a little idea of how the Bootstrap works, too. It's like a tail end of this video. But let's go to one more here. Hard driving I did. I'm going to show you how I did hard driving. But we're going to do Metal Slug and activate Blood Nat. And there are hundreds upon hundreds of arcade games you could do this with. So again, we're going to see what we have here for dip switches. We have a test. Yeah, we have a test switch on. And this one gets a little bit tricky to do, too. You just have to know what you're working with here. If you have unibios, you can do it a different way as well. I've done unibios trickery. Did I actually activate that dip switch? Let's see. Test switch on. I'm going to restart the game, see if it goes into the test switch. There we go. Hardware test. Setting up the hard dip, heading up the soft dip. I got to remember if it was in the soft dip or the hard dip. Let's see which one it was under. Slot 1 Metal Slug. There we go. We could do difficulty level. I don't even know how the game would be if you like change the difficulty level to be like 1. I wonder. We could do blood on. I like that. You can actually turn the play manual on or off. That's interesting. For Neo Geo games, you know how that works. So blood mode activate. Get out of here. And then we'll just restart the... actually exit out. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, jeez. Oh, okay. I can change languages, too. There we go. Get out of this menu. There we go. You got to make sure you push the right button there. Okay, now we could just restart the game, and we have that NVRAM created. So I almost had the game in Portuguese. I wonder if it was just actual dialogue, or if they actually had the... I wonder if they had it like in the actual language itself too. So turn this test switch back off. Now we should be good to go. We should have blood mode activate now. If there are any particular games you'd like to see this type set up for, let me know. And by the way, have you seen any good movies in the theater lately? I watched Matthew Vaughn's new movie Argyle, and a little bit of a spoiler alert. They're kind of linking the universe to the Kingsman universe. And I had a fun time. I didn't realize that. I didn't place at the time that Taron Egerton, the one who played Elvis Presley in the more recent movie, as well as played in that great Apple TV show where he was basically going undercover and talking to the serial killer, which happened to be the big guy, Chris Farley style guy, in the Karate Kid TV series. I mean, it just goes into like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon here. But I didn't realize that he was actually in the Kingsman movies. I need to go back and watch those again, but I thoroughly enjoyed Argyle. I mean, people were saying it was kind of convoluted and over the top, but I found it to be very fun. It was actually kind of like watching like Austin Powers combined with Clue with a bunch of action sequences. So yeah, look at this. I'm on easiest difficulty. It doesn't seem like I'm gonna have to worry about too many quarters being wasted. Oh jeez, awesome soccer. But in the last game here, and I actually did hard driving the same way. where I have an NVRAM generated. And I also have to show you what RAM is as far as like how the games play. So if I actually go into the on-screen display here, right here, under not main menu, RetroArch menu, on-screen display, on-screen notifications, right here where I go to notification visibility, memory usage. This is how much RAM you're using. This is random access memory, and it is utilized only when you have a program performing a function. Once you close that program, the RAM is reset. So let me give you an example of this. I am now running this game, and look at it. I have 487 megabytes of RAM, and I'm using 140 to run this game. You might notice if you run some games that might run slower, you open this up, it might be using like 444 menu. But there's a little bit of a bug here with the gas pedal, but I had a workaround for it, just temporarily committed to here until I analyze the code structure and fix it more accordingly. But watch what happens here. When I start the game, it might not accelerate. I could hold the start button down and do the key, but my car's not moving. What I'm going to do temporarily here, I'm going to go into analog switch controls. And right here where it says pedal 1, which is my gas pedal, I'm going to turn it off and back on. I have it reversed right now, so now it's going to auto-accelerate like the Mario 8 arcade game. So you can literally just do that, and the game will control itself, and then you can just steer and use your brake, etc. And again, this is a very, very tough game to run on here. I'm still trying to tweak it, but I got it working where you can load up the game, and it'll work with controls automatically. No main menus and all that fun stuff. In order to actually do this game, to actually program the menu on this, I'll show you what I'm talking about for this one. Badass game. Okay, we have dip switches here. Service mode on. Now watch this. Here's how you have to do the controls in this one, for an example. Hold key. And yeah, I have like my car trying to start again in the background. Little fun bug there. But set controls. There we go, set controls. And this is how you have to do it in the arcade initially. And the menu is pretty convoluted. Take your hands and feet off all the controls, then turn key. I'm pushing start to turn the key. Then right here, initialize steering wheel limits. I have to turn counterclockwise. You have to hold for approximately 5 seconds. For those of you who played this in the real arcade game, you might remember that this wheel was able to turn countless times to the left, countless times to the right. It was pretty badass. And it was also one of the very first games actually the very first game to have true force feedback from the steering wheel when you went off-road. So we're going to hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 256, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 8, 40. There we go. And then, of course, we have our stick shift, which I didn't program this yet, so I need to program this in. But as far as my NVRAM, my non-volatile random access memory file, which is going to be pretty much bootstrapped into the hard coding for the next release, I have the automatic transmission set. And you just have to, on this particular core, just turn the analog for the reverse pedal off and back on. Right here, step on, brake firmly, and release. Now I have the game all programmed back in, and I could just turn that menu off again. There we go, back to action. But in any case, what I was going to go into as far as like, this is interesting because you might remember hard driving is very, very thoroughly difficult, but unbeknownst to you, there's actually this truly badass version of it. Check this out. I'm going to go to my hard driving folder. And it's a good thing and a bad thing in a way. So I have Race Drivin' a Go-Go, which I'm going to run with the updated PC SX Xtreme HD amp core. Let me get there. And I have a whole suite of these PC SX HD Xtreme amp cores. So you could run these in many different, a myriad of ways in HD. I mean, some games required a different perimeter, so I have like a subset of these, so you can run pretty much every game you can imagine. So we're going to be running Race Drivin' a Go-Go. And, of course, HD mode activate. And this is actually a Japan version of the game that has, like, updated graphics visuals as well as the original arcade version of Race Driving, which includes hard driving. But very, very fun. If they would have released this in the United States, it would have by far been one of my absolute favorite gems, along with RC to Go, InGen Racing, Heart of Darkness, etc. Silent Bomber. You mean all my favorite games on many of these systems are obscure games. So right here, we're going to want to go to the second menu here. The first one is the new graphical overhaul, but I still like playing the original. We're going to go to the second one, which is the original game, but with kind of updated controls. The problem here is, while you're playing the original arcade game with the force feedback and you go off the road and you're struggling to get back on, it makes it just so fun. You're feeling that wheel. But this game, the controls are too easy. It's like easy mode activate. Like I One to the dip switches that made the game too incredibly easy. And I finished Reacher Season 2. I love this music here. Listen to this music. It sounds like the vacation music from the original Chevy Chase movie by the guy from Fleetwood Mac. And a little bit of trivia question. Do you know who I'm talking about? The one who didn't show up to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when he got nominated? Look at this. There we go. Start the game. And right here, I mean, even though the first menu was me choosing upgraded graphics and all that, this is a different menu here. This is literally just going to be the arcade version. Right here, we can choose our track. We could go to the original track, which is hard driving. We're going to do hard driving now, but if we go to super stunt, that is race driving. So we're doing original track. We also have mission mode. You can even choose different vehicles if you so choose to. Look at that. You have a semi. What's kind of cool about the semi is the physics were actually adjusted, so you feel it. It's like when you're playing the 18-wheeler game for Dreamcast. We're going to play with the semi and see how this plays out. Okay. But yeah, even with the semi and the physics controls in there, I mean, it's still not very difficult to control. You'll see. Let's go. I'm finding this a lot easier to control. Like where I'd normally be wiping out like crazy. This is cool though. You're feeling the weight of this. You may notice in some racing games when you go between like a cockpit view and a road view, you would actually see the physics change. Look at this. I'm driving a semi, and I hit the cow with no problem. Whereas in almost every other version, it is very, very difficult. Oh man, I want to get a crash with this truck. Let's try getting a crash and see what kind of replay we get. But look, this is so easy to control. RC. Oh, come on, crash. Yeah. Oh. Look at that. I should wipe out here. Maybe I could crash in a loop-de-loop. Whoa. Easy mode activate. I should have no difficulty passing this track. Oh. Bump. I just want to get a crash. Okay, get a crash. Oh, there we go. Watch this replay. There we go. Of course, we could restart the game. And we're going to see the graphical overhaul. But yeah, the controls are too easy. I still prefer playing the arcade version over this. I mean, it's a fun thing. But sometimes when they remake a game, even like when they did Robotron 2084 on Nintendo 64, it wasn't the same. While it's fun, I still prefer the original arcade version mode activate. So now we're going to go into the graphical overhaul. It is cool, like, having this. I mean, literally, if they would have released this in the United States, I would have bought it in a heartbeat. Okay, right there, you can see all right from the get-go. Wild Beat, Babe. We're going to try to see this little truck car. But there's our tracks we can choose. We got Wild Beat, World Sphere, Mirage City. Mirage City looks like it's a remake of Race Driving. Let's see how that plays out. Actually, I'm going to do Wild Beat first. Let's do this. Game start, mission mode. And it says updated graphics, but it's kind of funny because it's like now it's going to be like rose tinted glasses where it's not going to be as impressive, but still cool. It feels like one of the Sega off-road racing games. I feel like I have my navigator here telling me what to do. But look, you got more. For those of you who are like tremendous race driving, hard driving fans, you're going to be playing Race Driving a Go-Go, especially with this updated core. I mean, it is so nice playing this in HD. I mean, the game looks abysmally bad if you play it on standard definition. But here with these, the graphical overload, even with this jar and pop-in, it is still very, very fun. I need to get used to playing this and see if I can do, like, power slides. Like, and of course, Ridge Racer. Whoa, am I going up a big hill? There better be some payoff there. For those of you who are roller coaster fans, it's like going up to the top of, like, Millennium Force at Cedar Point. Right here. I'm expecting to be able to go, like, down a big hill or something here and have a crazy crash. Oh, I mucked it up so bad. I want to be able to wreck here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Let's wreck. Bam! I want to see this replay. Boom! Whoa, yeah. And I used to, when I had this on Mega Drive, the original hard driving game, me and my friends would take turns trying to get the crazy crashes. Let's try one of the other tracks real quick. Again, since it has these weird menus, I'm just going to restart the game each time to easier get into the track. We'll try one more of these. But I love all the different hard driving ports, and by far the Mega Drive version is the best. Because if you play the Super Nintendo one, it is a travesty. It ships with the slow ROM. It runs at 2.68 megahertz, whereas the fast ROM hack for it, like the SA1 hack, runs at like FX chip proportions, like Star Fox, where it runs at like 4.5 times faster. So Race Driving a Go-Go. And let me know what your personal favorite obscure PlayStation 1 game is. And again, what you're watching on Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc. and all that fun stuff too. So World's Fair, that I believe that is the hard driving track. And this would be race driving. Let's try the hard driving one, see how them look with updated visuals. Okay, very, very cool though. I mean, I give this game a solid 9.5 out of 10. Just because they messed up the controls and they re-envisioned hard driving. But here, this truly feels like it is like an updated graphical crossover between Ridge Racer and hard driving. This feels like Ridge Racer, but it plays like hard driving.
Move on.
Whoa! Oh, this is crazy. Let's see what happens when we get to the normal part there. Do we have the cow and all that? Oh no. Reminds me of like it when you're playing games like Grand Theft Auto and you end up like hitting the back of the cop car and they just never do anything. Look at it. Bump. 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 Whoa! Oh, that was awesome. Oh, oh, let's see it. Oh, I love that. I love that replay. That reminds me of the driver game. I give that a triple Lindy score. Rodney Dangerfield for the win. Can we do this again? I want another crash. I want to crash into that Mario Castle there. Can we do this? Whoa! Boom! Yeah. Yeah! Those boys are in a heap of trouble. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll have some Bootstraps added for the release, and I'm going to get Metal Slug 1, 2, etc., and I'll keep you posted otherwise on other videos.